Welcome to North London allotment for a June plot tour. Well, a lot has changed on the plot over the last month. During May, I was up here every day, sometimes just for an hour or so just to water, but gave me a chance to get quite a few jobs done, which is good. If you haven't seen the May plot tour, I went back and watched it again. It looks really different, so it's really pleasing to kind of have that to look back on and see how much has changed. So let's get a start and I'll talk you through what is growing, what is not growing, what's failed, what's working, and any plans I have for the future. This is the original herb bed. The sage in the far side, that's pretty much dead, so I probably do need to take it out. The oregano is doing great things, so is the mint, and that's a newish thyme there, pink chintz thyme, and down here we've got a new tarragon. You will notice the rosemary has gone. It died, so I'm guessing those rosemary beetles got that in the end. Now what has changed is I've made a start on the expansion, the new herb bed. These I bought from Finchley Nurseries, which is in Mill Hill, when they reopened with all their social distancing measures in place. And I've always found it easier to buy herbs in pots from nurseries. I grow a few from seed, but if you want a robust plant, they really are good. You will notice there are some tomatoes growing, quite a few actually, more than I realised. I'll show you a few in detail. This is because this was the compost area, and so all the composted tomatoes, there's another one there and there. I will have to take most of these out. I'll show you the one over the other side as well if you bear with me. Yes, so they've all come from the compost basically. Excuse the shadow. And then there's this chap here, also from the compost. Yeah, it's a tomato takeover basically. They will have to come out. Unless they're fairly good size like that one down there, there's no point transplanting them because tomatoes obviously need a long growing season. When I put these plants in, I spaced them out and they looked really quite lonely, but they filled out, so they are looking good now. And obviously eventually I'll be filling in where that wood chip is as well. The red bucket and the blue bag are perennial weed roots, just some of my extensive collection. Now if we go to this bit here, excuse the shadow, there's still some onions here. I still haven't found room for them. I know, it's really bad. And then here, some herbs that I do grow from seed. So there's basil, dill and chives. Dill did really well for me last year. Basil wasn't a great success. And I've never managed to get anything from chives, so pretty pleased to see that in there are some chives and a stray basil. Some lavender there that was also bought from Finchley Nurseries. I'll show you where that's going in a minute. Beans, bay tree, kiwi, blueberries, night scented stock here. That's growing really well. And I had a bit of a problem with my beans. The labelling all got mixed up. I mean, as I'm sure I said last time, my Sharpie has let me down. It's disappeared. But these, I didn't even label every plant. So some are climbers, some are dwarf. I don't really know which is which. And this here is a dwarf blackberry. This big pile of grass here is just here to dry out. That was all cut off from around here yesterday. All the long grass that was around the edge that I couldn't get to with the lawnmower. Surprisingly large amount of grass. And I did some more chopping over there because it was getting quite wild there. And that was, well, pretty much as tall as me, some of that grass. So I had to get some WD-40 on the shears because they'd seized up over the winter to get them moving again. Now if we turn around, this is one of my 3 grow houses. Underneath I've got some brassicas because they were finding the sun a bit intense. There's some flowers down here. This is a poached egg. I think that's calendula. Looks like calendula. Yeah, calendula. Had some other seeds, but none of them really did anything. And some marigolds. They all need a bigger pot, but I haven't got around to that yet. Various tomatoes and things here. That's been eaten, so we've got an intruder somewhere we'll have to look for. Yeah, these are just the last of the tomatoes. I've given some away to Amy, but I've got a few left to go in. I just got to make room for them. There's lettuce at the back. It's been a really nice lettuce. It's just like a mixed salad bowl one. There's a sunflower there. What have we got up here? More tomatoes and a couple of brassicas. All marigolds at the back. You can never have too many marigolds. Right, let's go look over this way. So, more brassicas, doing quite nicely. I think most of them are Swede, not entirely sure. Labelling, so always labelling. These with the weeds are for spaghetti squash in the old compost area, so I do need to have a good weed of that, but because it's behind me, I always forget about it. Marigolds, mainly tomatoes in here. This one in the big tub, this is all slot over this pallet here. They're just in the cold frame to harden off for a bit because they were at home. Yeah, these tomatoes need space, and that one needs water as well. Marigolds, brassicas, cosmos that needs to go out. More brassicas. Have I actually got a label on that one? Cobreeze, fabulous. One's got a label. Oh look, something's been nibbling. I need to have a look through here. Bet it's a snail. Slugs don't seem to be so busy this year. However, these fellas, oh, let's get him. You are cheeky, very cheeky. The thing is, I quite like snails. I can't stand slugs. There we go. But snails I think are quite cute. Yeah, I know, but you're not going to eat things. You're not. I'm not going to allow it. I'm going to go in my composter and you can eat the decomposing stuff. Right, I'm sure he's got a buddy in here somewhere, so I'll have a good root round in a minute. Excuse the focus. There we go. Peppers. Goodness knows what at the back there. That looks like another sunflower there as well. Is it a sunflower? It's got a label on. Oh, snail. Yes, it's a teddy bear, one of the little ones. Sorry, snail. You have to wait a minute. No, please don't go over my finger. More sunflowers, tomatoes in there. 5 snails, 4 slugs removed. Okay, let's move on. Comfrey potato is pink fir potatoes, my daughter's, and this is the bed. She keeps making excuses not to plant in it because there's ants. There's ants everywhere. Broad beans. You can see the problem we've got here, almost universal to broad beans. Black fly. I have blasted them off a few times, but to be honest, these are coming to the end now, so they'll be chopped down and this bed will be made over for something else. Here we have runner beans. Not all of them have taken. They're saved seed from last year, and yeah, not all of them have come up yet. In between we've got chard and then lettuce, and down here looking very yellow is a melon that I got from the garden centre. The rest I've grown from seeds. This is a sweetheart melon. Ironically, I bought this one in case my grown from seed ones failed, but this one is looking very unhealthy. Any advice for me? Please add it in the comments below. Oh, and I've got to show you this. Poached eggplant, isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. I just love that. Okay, so if we get up from here, these peas are Hurst Green Shaft, grown from seed here, so direct sown. As you can see, there's a few patches where either they haven't come up or a rodent has discovered a nice meal. and there's onions either side in an attempt to deter the slugs. There's also nasturtiums. These peas are, I can't remember their name, they're a purple, either a sugar snap or a mange two. I think they're a sugar snap pea, and these were sown in root trainers and I put them in the ground yesterday. And then we get over here. Now these were climbing beans. I sowed some in pots, blow-held. They did not do well when I transferred them, they died. So I put the last 6 seeds I had in, and that's it. That's a shame, that's a really lovely bean as well. So what I've got to do, I've got to put a couple more pieces of string in, down here and down there, and put some other beans in. I just haven't got around to that yet because I've been quite busy at the other end of the plot. This bit here is still to be dug. I'm not in a rush. There are frogs and toads hiding under there, so they're happy for now. And if I don't get to it this year, I don't get to it. Okay, wilderness with a couple of strawberry plants. Those were ones given to me by a plot neighbour last year. And I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with this bit of land now. What I might do is extend the grass from this kind of like, it's like the children's play area, sitting area. I might extend the grass all the way up to where this flowering celery is, up to the path. And have a bigger play area for them, because now I've got the whole plot. I can do that. I couldn't do it before because I just didn't have enough space for growing things. But I will need to level the ground because obviously I did kind of lazy raised beds. There's another bed I need to clear. It's the old broccoli. But do you know what? I'm giving food for the ladybirds. Look at that. I have seen so many ladybirds this year, and I saw them earlier than previous years. So I don't know whether the lack of pollution or whatever has helped them, or it's just a cyclical thing, but ladybirds are looking good this year. I've also got, I don't know if I can find some, let's go have a look, Ladybug Larva in various places. Here we go. I was watching this one on the right. I was watching that hatch the other day, but it was taking a very long time, so I didn't stay for the whole thing. And there's another one. Where is it? There we go. So from what I can tell, that seems to be the kind of cocoon state they go into after being the larvae, and then they come out as the ladybird. And I have seen all 3 states on the plot this year. Oh look, there's another one over here if you come with me. And I've never seen so many ladybirds, so many kind of like these cocoon type pods, or the larvae, which if I find any I will show you because I have seen some. Okay, we have started picking those red currants. It's over the blueberry, which is in a really stupid spot. Look at that. I put it in the middle of a path. It really does need moving. Okay, let's get over this path. It's very weedy. This bit I've started covering. There were some volunteer potatoes, took them out, ate them, very nice. And I've just covered it because obviously at the moment, the sun and the rain we've had in June, we were meant to have a really dry June, that hasn't been true. The grass has gone crazy, so just to manage it a bit. And this is the Schlacht Bed. And I really want this all out so I can cover it as well, but I have to wait for the shallots. So these are the overwintered ones. And then there were the 2 types I put in here in spring. And as you can see, there's a big gap in the middle where one type have completely failed. That's a random hyacinth bulb there you can ignore. That was just from when I was clearing the bed that's now covered in membrane. So those ones have done okay. These ones, absolutely nothing. Right, black currants now. I don't know about you. Black currants are looking huge this year. Last year was quite a rubbish harvest. The year before was great. They are looking massive. The berries, just look enormous this year. Hopefully they'll taste yummy as well. Potatoes. So these go from first early to second early to main, all the way down the end. And the idea is I start this end, dig them up, eat them, put green manure down, let the green manure grow, cover it, and gradually cover the whole thing. I did have a little look under one of these because it was flowering and there were only a couple of small potatoes, so they do need longer. Always get impatient for those nice potatoes. So let's have a look down the potatoes and then we'll turn at the end and come back this way. There are weeds. There are weeds. Aren't these flowers beautiful? Absolutely love potato flowers. Just think they're absolutely stunning. Carrots and onions. Not looking bad. Patchy. But germinating carrots is not my strength. But you know, there are some carrots there to eat. That is what matters. Mint there to try and help deter our old enemy, the carrot root fly. Here we've got some coriander, beetroot, chard and some radish, which is going to seed there. Rhubarb and gladiolus and strawberries. Look at this lavender. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely beautiful. We've had lots of strawberries. Slugs have had a few, but not terrible. It's not been terrible. And beautiful flowers. Most of these are perennial, so I don't need to worry about them. Look how much that teasel's grown there in amongst the iris. It's getting big. I think it takes them 2 years to make a teasel. So we'll be waiting a while yet. So we've got Coroposis, Dianthus, Aquilegia, Foxglove that I have no idea where that came from. And then we've got some Calendula down here as well. It's all looking lovely, and obviously those irises are still going. And a few pansies behind. This is all self-seeded Calendula. And then if we move over here, this has changed hugely. This was onions and garlic. Bad news, white rot. Lost most of them, to be honest. Yeah, had a few onions I could keep. Couple of garlic bulbs didn't split despite being here in the frosts. And so the couple of garlics that were left, there was no point doing anything with those. I can't eat them, I can't eat garlic, so I gave them to Amy. So my poor brother, I tried to grow him garlic. He hasn't got garlic. I bought him a book instead. These strawberries were from You Grow. I think it was an offer in Grow Your Own magazine, and you know they pair up with different garden companies. So I got 3 different types. I got like Colossus, a white one, and something else. And then this is a tree. Yes, it arrived looking like a broomstick. It still somewhat looks like a broomstick, but it's a Braeburn apple tree. And hopefully that will give us some lovely apples in a couple of years. Where the garlic were, here, I'm going to put in more lavender, so it's like a lavender path. And maybe a couple of other things, but the idea is to have a nice kind of lavender path going down. Nice scented, beautiful entrance to the plot. I think that will look really nice, and it will smell nice too. Onions, again, because they're really close to the white rot, I don't have much hope for them. But anyway, I won't be growing onions or garlic next year or for the next few years, so we'll just see how they do. Pea beans, they've turned green now, so they've got used to being out, and the ones that I put in from seed are growing through. Not doing much climbing yet. Oh look, there's another ladybird. Is she having a little snooze? See her there? Oh, isn't she cute? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to disturb your nap. You carry on. And down here now, I've got a confession to make, and I'm really embarrassed about this because, like, this big frame is at the front of the plot, and I got it wasn't just my labelling mixed up. I misread a packet. I thought these ones here, these are Jacob's cattle beans, and I thought they were climbing beans. And when I got the packet out to direct sow a few more, I realised they were bush beans. So these are not going to grow any taller, so it's a complete waste of them being on poles. And these, obviously, because they're drying beans, you just leave until the end of the season. Oh, look, those ants, just aphid farmers, they're evil. Evil. I might move my marigold closer and I hope it does something to deter them. There's another ladybird over there on a leaf. They're everywhere, it's brilliant. You see her over there? There she is. Or she or he. Yeah, so these are looking nice. They're making flowers, but I think this is probably the only one that's actually a climbing bean because I've mixed up the labelling. I think those are probably bush beans. Oh, I don't know. To be honest, until they start growing through as beans, I won't have a clue what they are. Never mind. It's all learning, isn't it? I said last year my labelling needs to be better, and now I've got to say it again. Beetroot, celery, sunflowers, the two with the nearest to us. My sungrew, and this I've just started digging because I need some more room for some tomatoes. And then this is rubbish. 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 This looks good. I literally planted all this in one day. I think it was a morning. So we've got some squash. Can't remember what type. Nope, can't remember. They're not butternut. They're not Queensland blue. They're not spaghetti squash. What are they? Can't remember for now. The idea is they can grow over that trellis and hide some of the rubbish. Down the end there is a butternut, and on the edges of all these banks you can see here I've put courgette, melon, squash, things that like to climb and take up space, so they're on the edge of the bed, so they won't take room from other things. So this is my sweet corn, early bird, sweet potatoes, apparently they do like it warm, so they're closhed. These are one of my experiments for this year. They're called Beauregard and I got them from Sutton's. And now we're on to tomatoes. Can't remember what they all are, but I did label some of them. Oh gosh, what are those? I think those are a mix there. These ones here are Honey Drop, which are from Sea Spring seeds. Their seeds, the germination rate was great. I highly recommend them. So that's definitely where I'll be getting my tomato and pepper seeds from next year. Can't remember what they are. Basically there's Yellow Delight, Costoluto Fiorentino, Snowberry, a couple of Amish paste. Wasn't really happy with the germination rate on the Amish paste, and also half of the plants then just withered and died. No reason for it. Treated exactly the same. Other tomato plants all fine. They were rubbish. I'm not going to give the name of the company because I do like them and they are very reliable normally, so I'll just let them know privately. I think that's it for now. And the ones I've still got left to go out are red cherry. Oh, golden sunrise are here as well because it's the yellow delight I've still got to get out, golden sunrise. And we got peppers. We've got yellow monster, a few mixed peppers, a Tudor orange, Onavec chili. I think we've got one cayenne. Basically whatever survived is out. They're not doing much at the moment. And do you know what? The ones that went out smaller seem happier than the ones that went out big. This is a Queensland blue squash here, which I got from the seed swap in Barnet. And there's 3 of those down here. Hopefully those will be nice squash. Now this is my other experiment for this year, one of which looks practically dead, which is a shame. Hopefully it's all right. So I've got 3 that I sowed in pots, and then I've got, where these markers are, 2 that I've sown direct. These are peanuts, and they also need a long growing season, so I don't know if I've got in early enough, but that's my other experiment this year. Peanuts. Telegraph cucumbers. I put them out in the hope, because they are an indoor cucumber, there's only one left. These are Market More. They're much more hardy. much happier. And there's another ladybird. They're everywhere, it's brilliant. There we go, look. Market Mall were really reliable for me last year. I really like them. And what I think I'm going to do with the Telegraph is when the grow houses are empty, if I put some in, like this week, put some seed in and then grow them in the grow house when everything else is cleared out. And then we're back to the junkyard, the covered area. And there's a tree and another volunteer potato. And that's it really. Please don't look at the ugly bit. I'm not going to leave you with the ugly bit. Let's go down to the nice bit. I don't like people seeing the ugly bit. Believe it or not, I did have a tidy up before I invited you round. I did do my weeding yesterday. There we go, that's better, isn't it? It doesn't look so bad. Just ignore that bit, ignore that bit, ignore that bit, and look at that bit. There we go, June 2020. So there we go, that's what's happening on the plot. As you can see, completely different to May, as it should be. I was in a panic and a fluster all May trying to get things done, which is why I made so many visits. I've had a couple of days in June off. It's just been wet, so there was no need to come up and water, which is my next job. And hopefully when you see it in July, it'll look even better, and hopefully there'll be less junky areas. So I hope your growing is going well, and I hope you are keeping well. And until next time, have good fun gardening. Bye bye.